Alright everyone, we'll be looking at how to increase maximum execution time for your WordPress. Now there are some videos that are left, like some things that are left before we jump into the actual design. Now this is one of it: increasing maximum execution time and then installing the necessary plugins. Now we need to do this first before we start installing the plugins, because installation of the plugin is like you sending requests to the server to process something. So it's always important to increase the execution time, or we call it execution timeout, for the server to process a particular resource sent to the server, most especially scripts and JavaScript or PHP scripts. And we know WordPress is built with PHP, so it's PHP scripts that will be sent to the server for processing. So it will take up to 300. We would like to make it up to 300 seconds for the server to wait before giving out a feedback that the resource sent to across to it is not it's not it can't be processed within 300 seconds. So that's what we'll be looking at in this video. By default, after installing your WordPress on localhost, most of the times it comes by default 180 seconds, sometimes 60 seconds, but that's not always good. It's good to increase it up to 300 seconds. But if you're using a live server, it depends on the hosting provider that you're subscribing to. The host provider might make it up to the 300. They can even make it more than 300, up to 800. That's still good. But most of the host provider like Namecheap and Hostbig that I do use, they keep it at 180. So it's left for you to contact them. If you can't do it, for you to contact their technical support team to help you fix it up, or you can do it. So this video will be looking at how to do it on our own. So whatever we'll be doing on this local host is just it's just exactly the same thing you will be doing if you are using a live host. Okay, so the step here says that we should create a php.init file. Okay, then we should add this line of code: max execution time equals to 300. Then step 2 also says we should edit our htaccess file. Then we should add this line of code too to our php htaccess file. That's our WordPress php htaccess file. This, and the very last method here says we should install this plugin by code popular. Okay, this plugin will give us more flexibility. We'll also do this. Then the last here says we should add this code to our wp config file. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at. Now you open up your WordPress folder. We need to open up our WordPress folder in a code editor. Okay, we need to open up our WordPress folder in a code editor, not a text editor. I have explained the difference between a text editor or a word editor and a code editor. So I'm using VS Code. Okay, if you don't have that option of opening with VS Code, please kindly watch the video 2 or the video 3. I've shown on how to open up a particular folder in the code editor, so I won't be doing that in this other video. So let's open it up. It's coming up now. Mind you, our WAMP server is running. You have to launch your WAMP server. Your WAMP server should be running. Okay, then you should launch your WordPress. Okay, like I've done mine. I've launched my WordPress. So this is it. As you can see, I have updates in my dashboard. But before you can update any plugin, you have to turn on your internet. Okay, you have to hotspot your laptop or whichever way you can go about doing that. We don't need this hello dolly, so I'll take it off. Okay, delete it. Now we need this Accurate anti-spam plugin to protect our site from unnecessary form of commenting and all of that. I mean, you know, nowadays people do use that format for backlinks on websites, so we don't need it. So we don't need such kind of approach on our site. So we have to keep this. I'll show you now how to set this up. So before updating this, we have to set that maximum 300 seconds execution timeout, so that we won't end up having fatal error in our website. Okay, so you open up your WordPress, the code editor. This is how it should look like. The very first one says we should create php.init file. So to do that, the free space here, you right click, you see new file, you click on the new file, you now type php.ini. This should create the php.init file. Okay, so we now head down, copy this code. You can type it out. I'll drop the code, the whole of this in the comments of this, and below in the comments of this video, so you don't just have to get worried. But if you can type it out, it's still good. So you type it out. Okay, it's taking long to act. Okay, so that's it. I think I'll stop the video here. When you're done with this, you can now save your work. Control S to save your work. So we'll look at the second method, which is the ht access.